Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a timeless strategy for holding on to power. And we're going to do it by looking at this short, really potent piece of fiction called Put Them in Boxes by Mohammed Abdullah. It's a story that shows how division can be one of the most powerful tools of control there is.
So right out of the gate, the story hits you with this, a stark declaration from Governor Maximus Titan. We are the kings. We are the elite. Now this isn't just him stating a fact. This is a mindset. It's a declaration of a right to rule that really sets the stage for everything that's about to happen.
So where are we? Well, the narrative just drops us right into ancient Rome. And we find the ruling class, led by Governor Maximus and his general, Dexterus, facing a problem that seriously threatens their entire world.
And how do we know things are heating up? Well, the threat is laid out plain and simple by the governor's wife, Astrid. Her one line basically defines the whole conflict of the story. The masses, the so-called peasants, are rising up, and the elite are being forced to pay attention.
And we're not talking about a small protest here. Get this. When the general is asked just how many people are rebelling, this is the number he gives: 900,000. I mean, wow. This is a massive, society-wide upheaval.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Well, the big takeaway here is that the elite's power, it's not nearly as solid as they'd like to believe. They're up against this enormous challenge, and the story implies they've got limited resources to deal with it. Their grip on power is, let's just say, fragile.
So you've got this two-pronged problem, right? The leadership is getting squeezed from both sides. From the inside, this huge uprising, and from the outside, their own army. The very tool they need to stop it is tired, exhausted, showing signs of war fatigue. Their power is basically hanging by a thread. So what do you do in that situation? How do you respond? This is where it gets really interesting, because Governor Maximus proposes a solution that doesn't just reveal the story's central idea, it gives the whole thing its title.
Okay, so part one of the plan, it's almost deceptively simple. It's not about fixing the root cause of the problem. No, it's a temporary fix. More food. But the key words there are for now. This is all about calming things down, just buying some time. And this is the real heart of the strategy. This is the long game. After you quiet them down, then you start the real work, division. And the language here is so important, man-made ideologies. He's not just talking about existing differences, he's talking about creating them, or at least exploiting them.
So let's break that down. It's a two-step process, right? Step one, pacify. You distract everybody with some immediate relief, lower the temperature. And then once things are calm, you move to step two, divide. You shatter their unity by sorting them into these different ideological boxes. But you might be wondering, why this strategy? Why division instead of just brute force? Well, to get at that, the author does something really clever. They basically press pause on the story to give us a look inside the governor's head.
Yeah, the author just comes right out and tells us about the governor's moral and ideological background. It's a way of saying, hey, this isn't just politics. This is personal. This is about who this man is at his core.
And wow, this quote really lays it all out there, doesn't it? The author's perspective is crystal clear. The strategy to put them in boxes isn't just some clever tactic. It's born from Maximus's own character flaws, his arrogance, his hatred, his turning away from faith. The story is basically telling us that this kind of control comes from a moral vacuum.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. What's the big idea here? What are these boxes really all about?
So in the story, these boxes are a metaphor, right? They're the labels, the man-made ideologies, political, social, whatever. They're used to slice and dice a population. They get people to focus on what makes them different instead of what they have in common, like their shared problems.
And that brings us to the core message of the whole story. Division isn't something that just happens. It's not an accident. The story argues it is a deliberate, calculated strategy. It's a tool used by people in power to stay in power, by making sure everyone else is too busy fighting each other. And the story leaves us hanging with this really powerful question. Notice it doesn't name the specific ideologies, and that's on purpose, right? It makes the story timeless. It's basically turning to you, to us, and asking, what are the boxes in our world today? And maybe more importantly, who wins when we let ourselves be put inside them?